Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian McKenna. I'm coming to you again through the webinar to give you another Nu Skin Ops or online prospecting system training webinar. We're going to be going over some interesting topics this morning, as well as the reasons and benefits that you're going to get out of using some of these features. Of course, the purpose of this tutorial or this training is to be able to show you guys how to use some of the different features and certainly kind of, build upon why you would want to do these kind of things. How are they going to help you, and of course the way that you're sharing information with your prospects or contacts. So without further ado, the first thing that I want to talk about this morning is realistically your guys' digital media library. The digital media library can be located underneath your guys' prospecting tab inside the Nu Skin Ops system, and then you're just going to select that first option in the drop-down menu. As soon as you come in here, you're going to be met with, of course, a couple of different items. As you can see, I've got a random, of course, presentation, but what's going to be more important to you guys that are just starting off new with the system is the access to, of course, the videos as well as the web pages and PDFs. And it's going to take just a couple of moments for all those videos to load for me because there's quite a few of them. And as you guys can see, there's probably a good 40, 50, 60, I'd probably say you guys probably have 100 videos even. So essentially, these are all the different videos that you guys have access to. So you can see, of course, we've got ones that deal with the highlights. We've got, success trip to the Big Island episode, age lock videos about the galvanic spa scalp treatment demonstrations, just the normal treatment demonstrations. There's a whole lot of course, a wealth of information in here that you guys should be able to become familiar with. So let me scroll back to the top. Like I said, this is a rather large list, so let me scroll back out there. Hopefully nobody's getting motion sickness from the scrolling. But now we're at the top. So essentially, when you first come into your digital media, not only do you have access, like I said, to videos, web pages, which will take a couple of seconds to load, and then also your PDFs, which is basically files that you're able to send out to your prospects and contacts. But there's a couple of different things to know about your digital media library that might help make sorting some of these items a little bit quick or easier for you to access. You'll notice on the left-hand side that we've also got folders, so you can actually set favorites if you want to, so you don't have to scroll through that huge list of course, videos. You can also see the ones that are global. These global ones, as we throw these tags in, are going to be all the ones that we supply to you, all the ones that all the distributors have access to. You can click on the age lock folder, and it's going to have all the different, of course, videos that are specifically about the age lock line. You're going to have, of course, business themed videos that talk about, of course, getting started, just getting into, of course, the business, the benefits of course, being a distributor with Nu Skin. You're also going to have, of course, just Nu Skin branded information that talks about, the creamy hydrating mask, the product training, the liquid body, the napkin moisture mist tips and things like that. And then, of course, obviously the Farm and X line as well. You've also got, of course, another duplicate folder which deals with the product tips. If you've got somebody that's looking to, of course, see a video real quickly of how they should be using one of the products, this is where you can, of course, come in here and just send them out a quick video. And we'll be talking about how to send out videos and how to include these in different items later on this morning. But I wanted to go through, of course, the digital media section and show you realistically what all content that is available to you to send out. Now, on each one of course, the listings for the videos, you'll notice that there's a plus sign out to the left of that. If you hit that plus sign, you'll actually see a little picture of what the video player looks like. It'll give you more information. This one's the product tip for back of the hands. Tells you that the language of this video is in English. And then we've got a couple of quick launch items that we can talk about. You can preview, of course, this video. It's going to take you directly over just to see what this particular video is. It's a good way to come inside the system, become familiar with the information that you're sending out to those contacts and prospects. The reason I emphasize becoming familiar with this information is if somebody has any questions after viewing the content or, of course, visiting your site, you're going to be in a better position to cover those questions almost immediately. You're not going to have to say, let me get back to you or let me ask somebody else. You're going to know firsthand what you should say, what you need to do to answer, or, of course, cover that person's objections or questions. So we'll go ahead and close that one out so it's not playing in the background for us. You've also got an option to email this video directly from here. Let's say this is the exact video I want to. I can click on the email button, and it's going to take me to the one-click email system, which we'll briefly touch on this morning, so I won't click on it just yet. You've also got some other items that in some of our other webinars, we've really hit on the importance of being able to share these content items on your social media websites. So we've made it really easy by being able to click on these icons for social media and then post them directly to, of course, those feeds. So in this case, just to show you real quickly, if I was to hit the Facebook button, since I'm already technically still logged into Facebook on this browser, it's just going to bring up, of course, a comment box for me to be able to share this particular link. So I'll show you how quick and easy that is real quick. And then I'm going to tell it to share a link. And then that's basically just going to get pushed over to my Facebook wall. People are going to be able to see that video, be able to look at, of course, the product at back of the hand. So they'll end up coming to the website to watch that. They won't watch it on Facebook itself. The whole point is we want them on the website. So if you guys are wondering how come the videos don't play like a lot of other videos that are posted to Facebook, it's because we've engineered it specifically to pull them back to the websites. So that way you're able to start tracking what they're looking at, what they're watching, which of course we'll go over more in future trainings as far as contacts and how to do that kind of stuff. You've also got an option to be able to build a QR code surrounding this particular video. A QR code, essentially, just to touch real briefly on it, is just a two-dimensional barcode that a lot of our smart devices, such as our smartphones, tablets, iPads, iPods, you know, especially iPhones, any Android counterpart, as well as electronic, is able to scan these barcodes and be able to pull in specific information. So in this case, what that QR code would be used for is to directly pull somebody's, of course, device to a website to watch that video. And again, you can click on the plus side for any one of them just to see more information about it. Again, same information when you come over to web pages. Let me refresh my page real quick. There we go. And same thing, you've got the preview options. You can actually send this directly to a one-click email situation. You've got an ability to, of course, directly share this with your social media networks. Again, you still have the same folder options, so if I wanted to, I could look at all the web page links that deal specifically with my ageLOC or that deal specifically with Nu Skin and those different types of things. And we don't have the flag set for that for web pages as of yet. The PDFs themselves, too, if we come up to view all, you'll see that you guys probably have about 70 different files you're able to send out based on product information pages, ingredient list, or, you know, active ingredients or something of that nature, anti-aging trends, compensation plans. You can actually look at what appears to be, let's not insert foot and mouth, but I believe this one's going to be kind of a testimonial that you can send out. It's going to pull me to the website first. We're going to get right past that. And it pulls me into, of course, start watching the information. So again, you can also sort these by language. Most of you guys are going to be using this as English. Most of you guys, or some of you others, are also going to have the opportunity to, of course, market to other areas of our beautiful globe, such as in the Chinese territories, Korean, Spanish. You're able to market to those specific regions as well in those languages. The market you can also set to Argentina, Canada, Colombia, Mexico, the United States. You can also do United States-based Spanish, and then Venezuela. Of course, you can create your own contact, or not contact folders, but content folders, much like you would in, of course, the contact management system. So if I wanted to start putting in my own folders based on what I think is, you know, all my favorite content that I want to send out based on PDFs, web pages, or videos, I can put in a folder name such as My Favorites Custom, save that up, and if I wanted to, I could start actually adding videos to that. Click Add to Folders, then of course put in My Favorites Custom, click that, and it's put those 3 PDFs in that particular folder for me. And that's going to be the digital media. So again, the one thing I want you guys to do and spend some time with is certainly getting, of course, acquainted with the information that your Nu Skin Ops system is able to send out. It just makes you so much better prepared for when somebody starts asking questions. So a couple of other things that we're going to touch on this morning is, now that we are aware of what kind of content that we're able to send out, what are some of those ways that I'm able to interact with this content and be able to share it with my contacts or prospects? One of the things I wanted to show you guys, which is a pretty powerful tool in my opinion, is the presentations and the presentation builder itself. Now, the presentation builder, what it exactly is, or what a presentation realistically is an amalgamation of a lot of different content items used in a specific purpose, and I'll explain more of that. So on a presentation itself, you can have a couple of different videos associated with it. You can associate a lead capture page image, and you can also add a PDF. So real quickly, I'm just going to go through and show you what you're able to do by building your own presentation. So obviously, we can see up to 15 different videos per page. As you guys can see, there's 650 total entries of, or actually 579. So I've got all these different videos I'm able to choose from. I'm going to put the TR90 success video. We're going to go over to page 4 and go over to corporate identity. And again, these are just random. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the information, and I probably, and of course, I should take my own advice and become familiar with the information. But you know, I just do the training of the webinars. So in this particular situation, I'm just randomly selecting videos. And these are the videos that are going to be in this presentation. And I'll show you the importance and power of a presentation once we actually build one. Now what we can do is we can actually choose a lead capture image or page style to be associated with this presentation. What that means is, if I send this presentation out to somebody, they're going to be met with a lead capture page if I choose to include that one. This is going to be specifically helpful in the instances that you guys are communicating with your cold contacts. If you're communicating with a cold contact that you might only have, of course, a first name and an email address for, and you can send them out a presentation based on that email address, if you include the lead capture page, you can also include opportunities to be able to capture their last name and then their phone number, giving you another way to follow up with them instead of just waiting on the emails. So the lead capture, of course, options on the presentations themselves, again, are super, super helpful when you're communicating to your cold contacts, just to try and be able to grab their updated information. You can also include a PDF that goes or accompanies the videos that you're choosing to kind of be your 1-2 punch that you're going to be sending out to, of course, your contacts or prospects. Again, I'm just going to pick a random one, which is going to be the Sherry testimonial. We're going to pick a lead capture page style. And if I pick a lead capture page style, like I said, you can recommend that somebody leave you their phone number and or postal mailing addresses as well. You'll notice that most people are apprehensive to submitting a postal address unless they know that they're requesting a sample. Now, phone numbers, like myself, I'm pretty comfortable on a phone. I would like to be able to follow up with the visitors to my websites on my terms, and basically as soon as humanly possible. So if I don't have that phone number, that kind of makes me wait on that person to check my email or to give me a phone call based on the information that's displayed on my websites. So if you're not the type of person that likes to sit around and wait for somebody to tell you that they're interested, grabbing somebody's alternate communication forms, their additional email addresses, additional phone numbers, if you've got their cell phone, maybe get their home phone number, whatever the case may be. But being able to put, of course, the power of the follow-up into your own hands is very, very awesome, and grabbing phone numbers allows you to do that. So step 2 is essentially just going to be naming our presentation. So I'm just going to name this one real quick, Test 21. I'm going to save that presentation, and then we can actually view that presentation. Now, the presentations, the reason why I said that these are pretty powerful is because when I send somebody a presentation, they're only going to see the information that I put in that presentation. This allows you to control the flow of information that that particular contact or prospect is receiving. If you're of the mindset that I want to be able to, of course, help them with all the information that they're ingesting, help them along, of course, with the decision process, because we know we're going to be more successful if we're able to do that, you might not want to give up the ghost and send them directly to the website where they can look at everything themselves and be able to, come up with their own decision without any assistance assistance from you guys. However, if you control the flow of information through the use of things like presentations, they're only seeing the tidbits that you want them to see. Of course, they still have the capability to probably go out and Google you, Google Nu Skin, or whatever the case. That's not something that we can control, but you can certainly control the amount of information that they're getting from you in these particular fashions. And I'm a huge fan of the presentations because if I've only got a couple of different videos I want to show to somebody, and I don't want them to see a whole bunch of stuff about the opportunity yet, I want them to be, purely consumer at this point, become a believer in the products and then make that transition over to a distributor, so much easier. So during this particular prospecting process, I might send them, of course, a product video that meets up with their specific goals or their specific needs, with some of the product lines that we have at Nu Skin. With that being said, I'm only going to send them, one piece of information. Maybe it's somebody that's concerned, of course, about their health. I'm going to send them some information about the Pharmanex line. If it's some, I'm speaking to, a young lady or an elderly lady that's concerned about, skin conditions and things like that, I'm certainly, of course, going to send them product videos that concern, of course, the skincare elements that you guys have available to you as well. So they can actually download the PDFs, they can watch all 3 videos, and like I said, they're not going to see the rest of the information that's on your website. So it's a good way to control the flow of information in those respects. And then every time you actually create a presentation like we just did through the prospecting menu on the presentation builder, that's going to appear now in your digital media section underneath this little tiny presentations tab. And of course, that's the one that we just built. Now that we've, of course, gotten the presentations out, or built, what can I do to be able to send them out? So there's going to be a couple of different ways that you're able to, of course, accomplish this. You can choose the email button over here. I think the easiest way is to also come into one-click email, just so that way you can start fresh, start picking the contacts that you want to be able to send information to. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this person as my recipient. Step 2 is going to be the configuration of that message. What do I want to say to this person when I send them this presentation? What's going to accompany them via text with the videos and the PDFs or the lead capture page option that I've presented them? Obviously, you guys are going to have access to the global email scripts, which is available to all Nu Skin distributors that have access to the Nu Skin ops site. And then, of course, you've also got access to any of your own custom email scripts that you guys create, or use ours for templates and just kind of add your own flavor to. So I'm just going to pick one just at random just to kind of show you what the email is going to look like. So I've got the information in here. This is what I want to say, but let's say I want to add that presentation. So I'm going to go to up above, probably where, of course, my signature kind of is. I'm going to select the Add Media button, and it's going to give me access to all those presentations, videos, web pages, and PDFs. So in this case, since this is the presentation that we're working with this morning, I'm going to go ahead and put a check inside its box, and then we're going to click on Add Selected. Now, wherever you have this little bouncing cursor or flashing cursor inside the body of your email is where those linked items are going to go when you tell it to add the particular item. So that's got my presentation in it. Now we can actually preview it, and this is exactly what the email will look like to that particular person. Now, obviously, it's going to say their name. It's going to have the information I want them to see, any of course, other items that I'm including, and then there's that presentation that they'd be able to click on, and then there's that Test 21 that I built. If I wanted to send that out, as you guys are probably aware, you want to be sure that you're clicking on I agree to the anti-spam policies and then just clicking on send email to make that go out. Now, if you're in, of course, an instance, I just want to talk real quickly about your guys' email server settings, which is also going to be accessible through your guys' profile. If you're going to email out, of course, some of these presentations, you'll need to make sure that these email server settings are configured correctly. A good way just to randomly come in here and test those is just to try and save and send a test email, and usually one of two things is going to happen. You'll either get this success message, which I did, which means my information is still good, I don't have to worry about it, or you're going to get this, and I'm going to purposefully delete a letter off my password so I can show you what it looks like. If you're going to send out, of course, a message and you get kind of a box like this, this is your kind of point to stop and get in contact with a technical support representative so that we're able to configure these email server settings correctly so that you're able to send out those presentations that you guys are building. So again, you can get to the email server settings through the profile up here in the upper right. Once inside the profile, it's on the left-hand side by clicking on email server settings. And then what I did just to test them real quick is to save and send out that test email. Again, if you get the success message, you're good to go. Just go ahead and start sending out the information that you want to. If you get that red error message like we just saw a couple of seconds ago, like I said, that's probably a point to stop and contact a technical support representative. The next couple of items I want to talk to you guys about today is going to be actually autoresponders too, because an autoresponder is a great and fantastic tool to be able to send out an automated, of course, response based to somebody's actions on my website, whether that's self-registering on one of my landing pages or lead capture pages, whether they request more information or, you know, they've watched a presentation or have not watched a presentation. So in the prospecting menu for the autoresponders, you can come in here and look at all the default ones that we have available to you. And then, of course, we've got the test one that I've put down here, and I can show you guys how to build one here in just a moment. But to look at what an autoresponder actually is, you can just basically click on the name of the autoresponders themselves, and it's going to give you a breakdown. So as we're looking at the ageLog product campaign, what we're looking at is this particular campaign contains 8 different emails that's going to take a total of 29 days or almost a full month to be able to send out all these messages. So obviously there's a lot of time in between each one of the messages that being sent out. It's usually going to be an average of about 4 days. So you can see that the first email is actually, are you ready to look and feel younger? You can, of course, get familiar with what this autoresponder says by checking the preview links. HTML is going to show you what that email actually looks like when they receive that portion of the autoresponder campaign. Text only is just going to show you the text of it, basically. You've got an option to edit or delete certain messages from, of course, these campaigns. We don't suggest to do these to the default ones that we give you guys. So again, this is 8 messages going out over 29 days with 4 days spacing in between each one of these messages. So if we go back into the autoresponders, we've got a couple of different options. We can certainly look at it. We can see the stats of this particular campaign. We can copy it so we can edit it. Or one of my favorites is actually being able to add my own campaign. Now, the reason why you want to use these autoresponders is because it's going to be helpful in having a set it and forget it, of course, option on your guys' websites, because every time that somebody visits your website, you don't necessarily going to be right there in front of a computer to send up a follow-up email. And if you're like me, when I get excited when somebody visits my websites, and if that's the case, I want to try and, of course, feed them the information that they're requesting immediately, either by sending them out, of course, an email that contains some, you know, further product information or some opportunity-themed information. But if I can also have an autoresponder do it, I can go about my daily business, and as people visit my website and complete certain actions, I can actually just have these campaigns start being delivered, and they're going to receive that supplemental information based on the visit to my website. So what we're going to be looking at first in the building our own campaign is the first part is you're just going to name this one. So we're just going to name it Test 22 just to go in numerical order. You can set it to what language it should be in and then what markets. I suggest always leaving it to default markets, especially if you're just building, of course, presentations to deliver here in the United States or North America. You're also going to have an option in step 2 once you start adding or editing the autoresponder message itself. The first thing that you can do is tell the system how long it needs to wait before sending out the very first message of this campaign. So after adding a contact to this autoresponder, as it's currently set, this message will be sent 1 day after me adding them. So if I add any one of you guys to an email autoresponder today, the earliest that that is going to go out is going to be tomorrow. And there's going to be another thing that we're going to pay attention to here when we start configuring additional messages in our autoresponders. And just, of course, for the sake of time, what we're going to do is just use one of our predefined email scripts just to kind of give it some sustenance inside the body of the email. And then we're going to click Add Another Message. So now I've just configured the first message that they're going to receive in my campaign. Now I'm on to the second message. And there's going to be one item that you're going to specifically want to pay attention to every time you add an additional message, and that's right here. After sending the previous message, wait this many days before sending this message, minimum of 1 day. So you can't send an autoresponder and all 15 of its messages in 1 day. The soonest that we will allow you to do it is basically back to back to back to back. You know, if you set up an autoresponder campaign with 7 different messages, we can have that be delivered, you know, every day for 7 days if you guys wanted it to. Now, obviously, we would not suggest that for, of course, contacts or prospects. They may view it as being spammy. That may turn people off from, of course, you know, following up with you or wanting to speak with you just at the rate they're receiving information. So realistically, on your second and any other messages in a campaign, you're going to want to give yourself a buffer zone. Give that person the ability or the chance to look at the first piece of information that you've sent them before you start sending them a second. So in this case, as you saw in our default campaigns, we usually choose a sweet spot of anywhere between 3 and 5 days. On that previous campaign that we looked at, we had it for 4 days. So if I set this for that, that means that my message number 1 is going to go out the day after I add somebody to it. And as we configure the rest of this message, we'll use another email script. And this one is going to go out 4 days. So that means on day 5 of them being on that campaign, they're going to receive, of course, this second message. Now, at this point, you have an option. You can save this campaign at 2 messages, which a campaign must be at least 2 messages. It can't be just 1 message. Otherwise, we'd suggest just turning that into an email script. But as far as the autoresponders are concerned, at least 2 messages minimum, and you can certainly choose to add another message or just save it at 2. So if I wanted to go to add another message, I'm obviously at number 3. And just to kind of show you how easy it is to move around in some different items, you can certainly still choose to add a lot of different media items inside each one of the messages for your guys' autoresponders. So let's say in message number 3, I want to show them a specific video. I've sent them a couple of text-only you know, emails, but now I'm sending them some actionable emails as far in the form of the autoresponder. So I'm going to choose one of my videos to be included. So I'm going to select Add Selected. That's going to be in there for me. And then essentially we can tell it to save the message. Well, got to have the subject in there. We're going to save that message. So this is now a 3-message campaign that I just built. And if you'll see, I on purpose did not pay attention to switching that drop-down menu for the how many days about the previous message, because I wanted to show you, real quickly, you can overlook that, and you're going to build a campaign that'll send 2 messages back to back. So as this campaign test 22 we just built, we've got, of course, these emails. It's going out on day number 1. We can see the subject. We can preview it. We can obviously edit or delete it, that message. And then we can see on day number 5, they're going to receive the second message, but the very next day, they're going to receive my third message. So in this case, this might be an opportunity where I'd want to go in and edit that and then change that day. So if I tell it to wait 4 days, save my campaign again, it's now properly configured with 4 days in between each one of these 3 messages being delivered. And like I said, that's the autoresponders. Now, as you guys are creating your own autoresponders, I'll show you real quickly. You'll see the test 22 is now in this list, but that's just not the cool part about it. As people come through, of course, the website and, like I said, complete certain actions, we're going to go back to something that we've covered before in previous webinars, but it's actually the autoresponder triggers themselves. So based on somebody's, of course, you know, visit to my Nu Skin products website or my Nu Skin opportunity website, I can choose to put them on any campaign of my choice. I can use all the global campaigns, or I can choose that campaign that I just got or just created. Now, this is applicable, like I said, if they come through and register on the lead capture pages for those. Obviously, of course, for the different websites. And then my 2 favorites is going to be the conditional triggers themselves. When you're sending information out to people and they either watch it or they don't watch it, our system is smart enough to know that situation based on their return visit to the website, because each one of the items that you send out has their own personal invitation to come check things out on your website. If they click that linked item or that video or that PDF, our system's like, aha, that's that person. They just clicked on the information that you sent them in their email. We count this as they have watched the presentation or they have looked at the information. If that's the case, you can actually set up your own autoresponder campaign to thank them for that. You know, thank them that, you know, hey, thanks for coming to my website, checking out my information. If you have any questions or concerns, here's my contact information. If it's all right, I'd like to send you a couple of additional emails over the next couple of weeks to introduce you to some other product lines that you may be interested or somebody in your family may have some uses for. And then also when it comes to the watched or didn't watch presentations, our system knows that as well. If they don't click on it, especially within this specified trigger after time, which is 4 days, which I think is a good time period for somebody to have a chance to look at some information that I've sent them. So if they don't, I can put them on a campaign that, maybe says something along the lines of, hey, I know certainly times are, busy for all of us. We don't have a whole lot of time to look into, of course, new and exciting opportunities or products that may change our lives. But here's a quick, minute and a half or 30-second video clip that I really feel that if you watched, we would be able to have some information or some dialogue, be able to continue our journey and get some products into your hand or get you to convert over to a distributor yourself. But like I said, this is basically your autoresponders that you guys want to be dealing with. The triggers are going to be helpful in helping you guys set what messages are being delivered to who's doing what, and basically follow up with anything that you want to. Like I said, be confident to go inside the system and start making, of course, some of these autoresponders come to life with your own personalities. Just from my background being in, of course, sales and of course, marketing, if I were given a script and somebody told me to use that, I'm not going to be very successful because I just can't use somebody else's words and they don't come that well or effective out of my own mouth. However, if they gave me the capability to take that basic template that has a great delivery system and certain key points that you're going to want to hit on, I can go inside there and edit out some of the words that I may not say, put in some of the words that I would say, just based on my personality or vocabulary. Like I said, put a little bit of flavor or put a little bit of you into the system. Feel free to edit, all the global information that you guys are able to when it comes to, of course, the global autoresponders that we have available, as well as just, completely going custom and creating your guys' own. So that's going to be the autoresponders. So now that we've seen the autoresponders and we've seen the triggers and how you can get people put onto these automatically, let's say you create a presentation that you want, somebody to view immediately. Or an autoresponder. So we can actually go into the contacts management system, and I'll show you guys real quickly how to add some people to autoresponders. And this is one of my favorite methods. You guys can do it in other ways, but I like to show you guys the straight cut to the chase. How can you do it the fastest? So the quickest way that you guys are able to add people to autoresponders is actually through the contact management system itself. What I'd like to do a lot of the times, depending on how many people I want to add or if I want to put it based on, of course, my folders that I've set up, whatever the case may be, but let's say I want to send an autoresponder campaign out to my first 100 contacts because there's a new product campaign. If that's the case, what I can do is actually show 100 entries, and that's going to show me at least 100 entries on this first page, so you guys saw that. Again, sorry for motion sickness if you guys get it. So I'm going to select all. What this is going to do for me is place a check mark inside the boxes for each one of the contacts on the first page. So I've got 100 contacts that are checked right now. The other option that you guys are going to have is being able to use this action button to quickly interact with 100 contacts or as many contacts that you have checked off. So since I'm wanting to add all these people to an autoresponder, I'm going to click on this option underneath the prospecting side of this panel and select Add to Autoresponder. Now I'm going to have access to all those global campaigns, and as you guys can see, there's my gibberish campaign and the test 22 that we just built together this morning. So if I wanted to, I could tell it to do this. All those 100 people are now going to be added to this. They're going to be given the option to select what message are they going to receive first from the test 22 campaign. Do I want to start them off on the third message, the second message, or the first message? Usually the first message is the way to go unless you've built a campaign that has several different messages. And depending on where that person's at in the prospecting process, you could be able to skip some of the messages that you've created. So we give you guys that capability. And then obviously you're going to be able to select what date that you're going to want these autoresponders to go out for these 100 contacts. Again, these autoresponders are going to be dependent on those email server settings that we took a peek at just a little bit ago. So again, if you guys get a red message or a red error box pops up when you guys are trying to test your email server settings, stop what you're doing. If you've got time, contact one of our technical support representatives. They'll help you out and get that configured correctly. Now, in this particular case, if I'm going to select a date, you'll notice that I cannot select today's date, or I can, but no messages are going to go out. And we try to let you guys know that just by having this particular date highlighted. So the next available date that I have for these to all automatically go out is going to be the 30th. And then, of course, I would just click that button, and then they're all added to autoresponder campaigns. I don't want to spam a whole bunch of people in my contacts list, so I'm not actually going to click that button. And that's going to be, like I said, the quickest way for you guys to add people into, different autoresponder campaigns. You can certainly remove them from autoresponder campaigns. And this is the message. So it just removed 100 people from autoresponder campaigns. So if you accidentally set a whole bunch of people to an autoresponder campaign, don't fret. There's certainly easy ways to, of course, remove all those people as well. Now, one of the other things, since we're actually talking about different ways to add people onto autoresponders, is I want you guys to get familiar with this actions button. This is bar none going to be the quickest way that you're able to interact with a bunch of your contacts at one time, whether you want to export all of them to a CSV file, you want to add a certain number of contacts to a new folder that you've created, or you want to delete certain contacts from certain folders because now they're not consumers, now they're distributors. You can add them to the archive and things like that. And then obviously you got your prospecting options. If I wanted to, I could select 100 people, send out an email right now. I could set up a to-do item, or otherwise known as a reminder for myself to do something with these 100 contacts, or as you guys just watched, what we do when we add all those people to an autoresponder campaign. Now, the other way that you're able to do that is actually clicking on somebody's contact name, and in this case, those are just my cell phone number contacts that I can access through my Gmail. And as you guys can see, I can come in here and look at a bunch of different information, but what I wanted to show you is the actual autoresponder options that you have. So I can choose to manually put this one person on that campaign and then select tomorrow's date and then save that, and then I'll end up going out. And then basically that message is going to go out. The other thing that I said that we were going to talk about, of course, at the beginning of, the course, this morning's phone call was going to be an access point for you guys to be able to share some information with people in your downline. Now, we've shown you guys a couple of different ways for you to be able to create some custom information. We've shown you the presentation builder. We showed you the autoresponders. That's just two of the ways that you're able to create your own content. And then you're also able to create email scripts. Now, the email scripts are those templates that I was filling out those emails with without having to type in anything. You can obviously come in here and edit out the ones that you need to if you wanted to, or just create your own for easy access in the future. But what I wanted to show you guys is this team access. So keep in mind, we've got custom items such as presentations. We've also got autoresponders, and then we got our email scripts. Now, if you guys are finding that you're super successful or highly successful with the information that you've come up with yourself and the way that you're presenting it, the first couple of videos that you're showing out on next to, of course, a specific email script or an autoresponder that has just brought you in, of course, a lot of, new customers, new prospects, whatever the case may be. You have the capability to share this with your downline. Now, the reason you might do this is because sometimes a lot of us are going to train our downline in a specific manner in how to get things done, how to contact prospects, how to, of course, approach a specific product, orientation to somebody, or letting them know what the product's good for, what it can do in those items. So if you're the kind of person that you're a big team leader, you want to help, people on your downlines be as successful as you, why not give them, of course, a leg up and give them access to some of the same information that you've created? And that's why we came up with this feature that we call, of course, Team Access. So the first option that you guys are going to see when you come into Team Access from that Profile tab is actually going to be able to join a team. Now, Nu Skin Corporate's not necessarily going to have any team names for you guys to join because the team names are user created. And I'll show you guys here in just a second. So if I wanted to, I've got Team McKenna as my username. Now, to show you guys something, I can't do it, of course, on this account, but since my name is Team McKenna, as far as my team name is concerned, if you guys went into your team access and then typed in Team McKenna and joined my team, you now have access to, of course, all my custom presentations, all my custom autoresponders, all my custom email scripts. So if you guys typed in Team McKenna, guess what? You're going to have access to, well, we didn't make an email script, so let me back up there, the autoresponder. So we got that Test 21 presentation we built, and then we got that Test 22 autoresponder. If you guys joined my team, you're going to have access to that to be able to send out to your own contacts and prospects. And like I said, the reason we developed this is because we know you guys are going to be sharing information in this manner anyway, and it's just a whole lot simpler to be able to do it internally inside the system as opposed to saying, hey, I want to be able to share this information with you, but let me copy and paste it out of my own script, send it over to you in an email outside of the Nu Skin Ops system, and then walk you through the process of putting that copy and pasted information into your own, presentation or your own email script or own autoresponders. That's probably going to be too much of a task, and it requires too much hands-on time just trying to share some simple information that we want to get out to people who are interested. So in those respects, that's exactly why we've created this. We want you guys to create your own team names. As I said, we want you guys to create your own content, put a little bit of yourself into the system, add your own flavor, add your own personality. And then, of course, as you become successful with that information, you begin to build your downlines. That's going to be even more important to be able to share that information with your downlines because now they're going to be able to hit the pavement running. They're not necessarily going to have to use just the default information. They're going to be able to use the same stuff that lured them to you and, of course, got them interested in either the products or the opportunity. So, again, team access is pretty cool. Like I said, if you guys put in Team McKenna on your guys' and click Join Team, you're going to have access to, of course, all those presentations and autoresponders. And that's probably going to get close to, of course, the end of our presentation today. Just wanted to, of course, touch on some points with those presentations and digital media items. Get you, like I said, get inside the system and get familiar with this digital media section underneath your prospecting tab. Get in there, get familiar with each one of the PDFs. What do they look like when they go out to each one of the prospects? Watch the videos. Try to get, of course, a perspective from what a customer would be watching. I know a lot of you guys already do know what the content is because otherwise you guys probably not be on this webinar call right now. And then, of course, those autoresponders, like I said, ever important for you guys to understand that we have a system in place to help you get information out to people. And we want you guys to do that in an automated fashion as easy as possible so nobody's having to sit or hover above a computer for anywhere between, 4 to 8 hours a day just trying to send up follow-up emails, see who's come to the website, and those different types of things. So if you've got a way to, of course, let a system do the legwork for you, why not set it up and help yourself? And then, of course, like I said, we discussed that team access. It's a pretty straightforward item. Now, in the future, I think what we will be doing with team access is giving you guys the capability to exclude or include which ones you share with your up or down line. So if you'd like to reserve some information for yourself and not share everything, you guys will probably be able to do that in the future. But at the moment, if somebody joins your team because you've created a team name, they're going to have access to every single one of your custom scripts, every single one of the custom presentations, and obviously each one of the autoresponder campaigns that you've built as well. So if you don't want to share everything as of yet, don't necessarily, of course, start using the team access. If you want to share all that kind of stuff, by all means, get in here and play with it. It's pretty cool to be able to see what other teams and information that other people are being successful with when they're distributing this stuff out to prospects and contacts out in the field.